All right, people. We're back with another weekly watch list and review. All right. If anyone got a chance to check out last week's, I greatly appreciate it very, very much. Again, it's definitely something that is helping me learn. If I can make these watch list review, kind of show you guys what I'm looking for in the market this week, specifically with SPY and IWM, then it helps me learn. The more you teach of something, the faster you can learn. This is true with multiple other things in my life that I'm currently involved with as well. And you try for yourself. If you're struggling to learn something, try teaching it. It doesn't have to be to anyone. It doesn't have to be a YouTube, video like this or channel or anything like that. You could just try to teach it to someone, maybe talk to someone that you're close with, a friend, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, and watch yourself improve. So I'm not going to lie. Last week was a hard week for sure. It started off pretty well, I won't lie. FOMC is something that I do not trade. I know there was FOMC last week, and I do not trade that. Okay, but the days prior and post, I have struggled with for sure, just with direction in the market, and honestly just making some bonehead mistakes and some things that I can't even explain quite yet. But again, I'm learning through this, and I will learn from these mistakes or lessons, if you will. So I ended up just having some poor risk management later in the week. Kind of my last two trades of the week, Thursday and Friday, or it's just Friday. I had two trades that day, just holding on for hope. And one of my rules is if I lose the first trade, I will take another. If I lose two, I'm done for the day. And recently, I have been just, if I lose one trade, I'm done for the day. However, earlier this past week and late last week, I did have a losing trade the first trade. I was able to still end the day green with the second trade. So because of that, I decided to take a second, lost more than I should have on those last 2 days last week, or I'm sorry, just Friday on those last two trades. I had poor risk management just because, I had some trades that I thought I had high conviction with, and just seemed to go in the opposite direction without really any explanation that I could come up with at the moment. So that's what led me to holding on for hope. And that's what I mean by struggling with the FOMC weeks. Is just the market direction can be so violent and so quick, even outside of just the FOMC meetings, Jay Powell, things like that, that it was hard for me to find my trades. And also, I feel like last week I was kind of overcomplicating things a bit with trading and kind of getting away from just roots. So I've dialed it back this week, and specifically with part of my game plan this week, I just have a couple rules. Going back to being very, very disciplined with position sizing and so on. I was getting a bit carried away where I was still trading the same number of contracts, but I was sometimes using more expensive options. And then, of course, my position size would then be much higher, right? So I'm going to be keeping that in check this week, just editing the amount of contracts I use to keep my position size, the total position I'm using, consistent, okay? Expiration has been good. I've been staking between 1 and 4 days of expiration. Funnily enough, though, Friday, the trade that I did lose, I was going in with a scalping mindset, if you will, played 0 day till expiration, got burned. And it's just something that I'm no longer doing it for the time being, at least. I'm not looking for these scalps on the 5 minute or with 1 minute entries or just scalping on the 1 minute. It is not something that I should be doing. It's not something that I should be doing right now, and especially as a new trader, I would not recommend that whatsoever as well. So I will not be doing that. I've been sticking to 0 to 2 strikes out of the money or at the money or out of the money. So sticking to mostly at the money strikes or at most 2 out of the money, okay? And then also for this coming week, I'm going to be just bringing my strategy back to just basic support and resistance and the pre-market high, pre-market low, which has been something a lot of my winning trades have included break and retest of pre-market high, pre-market low, as well as the previous day's high and low as well. So I'm going to be looking for that a lot this week. It's going to be what I'll be mostly trading. I kind of got carried away with fibs and some spontaneous like intraday levels, and they just did not work out. So I'm going to be really looking for just only break and retest of pre-market high, pre-market low, only break and retest of support and resistance levels, and I will find flip levels as well. Previous support, turn resistance, previous resistance, turn support, things like that, okay? And also I'm using fair value gaps as well with the break and retest of pre-market high, pre-market low. And also One thing I've been using more is the 9 EMA in VWAP for, especially if we're trending in a certain direction, uptrend, downtrend for the day. Oh, excuse me, sorry, I had my mouse for a bit. So that's what I'm going to be focused on mostly just this week. It's just I'm really only looking for the break and retest of those levels. Pre-market high, pre-market low, giving my direction for the day. We break to the upside, we break the pre-market high, be looking for a retest to continue higher. Same thing with the pre-market low. We're looking for call entries up higher or lower. Now for this week, obviously, post FOMC, which is an incredible sell-off. Okay, I know I have IWM up on the screen here now, and incredible sell-off. And I'm not going to be looking for to go long until I see a clear reversal. We have heavy selling volume, just a massive move the last couple of weeks here up from this 190 level, which is just absolutely insane. So I do have a couple key levels that I am going to go over. Okay, so starting with IWM. All right, let me kind of zoom in here. And I know there's a lot of levels up here, so just ignore those because they're obviously not relevant, but I do not delete levels until we're back to that price area, in case I need them later, right? I'm not going to delete these now, so I'm just focusing down here. So my biggest ones are going to be next major support I'm looking at is going to be down here at this 170 level. Okay, so this 170 level is going to be my next major area for a bounce. But again, I'm going to wait for confirmation. Again, I use the higher time frames, weekly, daily, 4 hour, even the 1 hour to kind of find my game plans, and then I'll find the entries, of course, in the lower time frames. The 15-minute for confirmation, 5-minute, and then specifically 4 entries that I've been using the 1 minute more recently with confirmation with that volume. Okay, watching price action with the 1 minute, confirmation with volume. Okay, but next is going to be that 170. Okay, major bounce, possibly a swing trade here as well, but we'll see if we even get down there. Okay, we obviously closed we closed on Friday on IWM at 176.63, which I'll get to that in a second. But outside of that, I do see here 172.3 around this area here be possible more realistic bounce if we break 175. Like, let it be known that my biggest support level is going to be down here at 175. I even said this here last week on these ETFs, SPY, QQQ, IWM. The 5s are very key levels for support and resistance. So I do think this 175.6 here on the daily, which we'll get to in a second, is going to be my first major bounce. Okay. Again, I did see this 172 here on the weekly, so we'll be careful. Well, look carefully to see that. Okay. But on the daily, okay, I'm seeing it here with this gap fill. Right, so as you can see, we have this gap over here. Right, we closed here at 175.6, so this is going to be my next major bounce. Again, rejects. As far as rejects go, like, I will potentially look to take a rejection if, again, we come up and retest, Friday's high of day, this 178.3. Outside of that, I would say it's probably going to be closer up here to around 179, 179.8. Okay, right here about where this close was last week, I believe on the 19th, or earlier, sorry, this was actually, I believe, the day of FOMC, so this would be Wednesday's close, Thursday, Friday. So this will be like my next possible reject around here as well, and as you can see, it's also going to be an area of confluence as well, as there's also price action over here from June as well. Okay, so that's going to be something I'm going to be looking for potentially for a possible reject, but I'm going to be looking mostly just for bounce plays. And I do think that a reversal in the market will be coming. That would be great, and according to my plans, but time will tell. Let's see, anything else here on IWM? That is going to be it. So that's going to be my plays. Again, that 179.8 potential, this close here as a possible reject. I do have this level here as well. It's previous support, turn resistance here. We had this gap down, of course, and then opened here Thursday, had a big sell-off as well. So we'll see if we come back up here and there's maybe unfilled orders. That also could be a reject too. So we'll see here. All right. So let's go over to SPY to wrap things up. All right. And all right, going to SPY. First thing is going to be gap fill at 438, 438.7. Okay. I believe I have that on the weekly, and that is going to be a possible reject for me as well. Same thing, obviously ETF. We saw these huge sell-offs this past week with FOMC. Nobody's really surprised. But that's going to be one of the first levels that I'm looking at here for a possible reject. Again, if we get back up there in the next couple of days, of course. I believe I had it on, let me see, possibly the daily. I just want to double check. I do have this trend line here. We'll see if we could get if we got like a bounce, it would probably be a couple of days from now, or sorry, a couple of weeks from now, potentially over here, if we still just kind of chopped around down this 425. I do see 425 being a huge area of support. You can see that with massive volume, I believe on the weekly it was, at that 425 level. So if we go like to the highest volume here, back in, I believe, January here, okay, where do we get support, right? Right around this 425 area, okay? So it's just something that we're using for confirmation, right? We want to use volume as confirmation. So it's a big area for support. Again, it's one of those 5s or 0s, a whole number. So that's what we're going to be looking for as well, 425 support, all right? So possible major bounce there, potentially a swing trade there. If we lose 425, potentially down here in this 420 area as well. Right here, this 420, 422, that could be also another area of support too, but we will see. If we crack 425, could get pretty ugly. Potentially this trend line bounce here, make that third point right down here, this 418, 420, and right around here, this could be where the next bounce could be. I also wanted to see if 430 would be support. Just looking at the daily here, right? 430 has been an area of support in the past. We're going to see where we open up tomorrow, see what happens, see where the pre-market session brings us. If I was guessing, I don't think it holds. I think that will come down and test this, this 200 EMA and this 425. I think that 200 EMA and 425 bounce looks really, really good. That would be perfect, man. That would be looks like a really awesome opportunity for a bounce play there, okay? So it's 438.7. That's what I wanted to go over, this gap fill, which I have right here. So it's 438.7 right here, right? Fill this gap, come up, reject here. That's going to be, again, a play for me as well. And that's about it for SPY, right? So I have that 438, 438.7, gap fill, reject. I do have this 435 here because, again, it's previous support, turn resistance. As we saw here, we opened up here on Thursday, had a big sell-off. So we'll see what happens there as well. That could be a possible reject. It has been one in the past. And also, again, it's a 5, right? So those are key levels on these ETFs. One last thing I want to cover real quick is part of like my strategy, if you will. Every day I mark the close with this light blue line. I mark the previous high, previous low, just for like the range for the next day. Now, obviously with a range like this, I do not use it as much. I would say with a range this high, like if we get up here tomorrow, I'm definitely looking for a put entry up here, again, with price action and volume to confirm that. If we break this low of day, I can be looking for put entries there as well. Again, especially when that pre-market low is down here, these are where these things can kind of coincide, right? Use the previous day low and high and the pre-market high and low to kind of, tell the direction for the day. But again, I've gotten away from that. And I made my trading a little bit too complicated. And that's where I had a rough week last week. Okay, I'm still green for the month of September. I would really like to close it out really strong. Okay, so that's going to wrap it up for this week. Again, it's the only second video I've ever made. Again, I have been, in the stock market since December of 2021, 2022. Spent the entire year in the discourse, Atlas trading, and just, following alerts and losing a bunch of money. And then I committed to, trading full time and treating it like a business in December of 2022, January of 2023. And I've been full time every single day, back testing, doing at least one studying of one trading video every single day. Did the first, January, February, March, April, half of May, all paper trading, and I've been doing real trading since. So I guess you could say if we just started from this year, about 9 months into this journey, and I do it because I love it. It's fun. I really have so much fun. I'm passionate about it, and again, it's not my main thing. I do own my own business. I've had my own business now for the last 8 years, which has become very successful. But I would like to be able to move away from that business because it is in the service industry, and be able to have a bit more freedom with my time and money and life as well. And that's why I love trading so much. That's my why for that, is to have ultimate freedom and honestly to really help the people around me. I would like to create as much wealth as possible to help those around me as much as possible. But enough on that. Just want to keep it to the weekly watch list. For anyone watching this video, again, It is hard for me to make, but I'm definitely very uncomfortable making this video, making these videos. I'm, definitely dealing with some imposter syndrome. So I'm not. This is again not financial advice. I'm not recommending you take these plays. You do your own due diligence and research, and come up with your own strategies as well. Again, we're talking about Slut Trader. Here's 9 months into this. But it helps me learn, helps me gain experience. So for those that are watching, I genuinely appreciate the support so much. It means the world to me. And if you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing to the channel or dropping a comment, letting me know your thoughts. But have a wonderful week, guys. I'm hoping and praying that every single person watching this video is green for this week and has an abundance of gains this week. So thank you guys for watching, and have great success this week in your trading. And I'll see you all on the next watch list. Peace, guys.